Welcome back to another episode of the Morning Skate, episode 197. Only a couple more until 200, kind of crazy. We got Ked here. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm here and I'm joined with Hal. Hal, how's it going, buddy?
It's good, dude. It's good to be back. You replaced me last week. That was kind of nice. No excuses. I just didn't show up.
We were talking about accountability, Biz Dev and I, and Biz Dev was going to text you in the group and be like, why am I the only one to be accountable? And I was like, I don't know if you want to poke that bear. And then we just kind of let it slide. But let bygones be bygones. Hal, you've been pretty good this year. I think you've missed maybe two.
Where was Biz Dev?
What do you mean?
Where was he?
He was texting me. I forget what he was doing.
So, I mean, Biz Dev wasn't there. I feel like we knew he wasn't going to be there. Yeah, I just didn't respond, dude.
It happens.
So it's good to be back. It's kind of crazy, though. What's that?
I said far less than in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've done this all year. And it's also been – this is kind of a bounce-back podcast for me. I think I felt like I could just get right back into it, but I can't. I'm struggling right now, so can we go to NHL in the news?
Well, before we go there, I think we do have to mention that Biz Dev did complete his trip from Saratoga Springs to New York City on a bicycle. You're shaking your head. I actually have a picture I wish I pulled up on StreamYard. You jumping up and down with a sign.
I was not.
So, but I mean, pretty cool feat. I want to be able to do it. They did in like 4 fucking days. We didn't know it's him and our other buddy Rooney. We didn't know if there's going to be some some drama on the way up. I mean, when you're around somebody for 4 hours and half of it, or 4 days and half of it's you like fucking working out really hard, I feel like I would be very irritable. But they made it. You guys went to Steak Fest. I forget, Gallagher's in New York City or some shit. All sat down and had a steak. How was that?
It was good, dude. I don't want to get into too many details. I will say shout out Biz Dev Dale. I mean, 250 miles is hard. I feel like there's some slander there, though. It's not like I was waving pom-poms for Dale to get across the finish line, okay? First off, we weren't actually where I think he thought we were going to be. Like, it was awkward. It's not like they came across the finish line.
Oh, it was very awkward watching you jump up and down that sign in that little, like, park area.
And, like, it wasn't – they, like, came down the steps and they had to, like, zig and zag. So we kind of blew it there. To be fair, I had been – paper bagging beers in the park for about 4 hours at that point. So I was probably going to cheer for whatever happened. I was just looking to get out of there. But impressive, dude. I mean, you couldn't ride a bike.
No, I absolutely couldn't. And I would like to give Rooney a shout out more than Dale. Like, Dale's biked the Erie Canal. I don't think Rooney's ever done anything like that before. And perseverance, man. I mean, Dale, he lives off that 100% organic grass-fed beef where – Rooney's kind of like we are. We just eat what we eat. So,
but I feel like Dale is too. Am I wrong in that? I feel like Dale will eat like a gyro at 11:30 on a Tuesday and send you a photo and be like, "This falafel's unreal right now."
Yeah, but
or like a cheeseburger.
I think he also 100% knows like what actually goes into that gyro or that cheeseburger. Like, I think he's very self-conscious of the fact that it needs to be all earth.
I guess, dude, when he orders pizza time wings.
They're probably gluten-free.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point. So shout out to Dale. I mean, can you imagine his hero of the week if he was on the podcast this week?
It would probably be like the new bike shoes that he got that he can click right in or something.
It would have been himself, dude. And then his bike shoes. Probably would have thanked a couple other people along the way.
Did they show up in full bike gear? Like, did they look like Lance Armstrong?
They were in bike gear, but they didn't look like Lance Armstrong.
I wish we would have thought about this earlier. I would have created a GoFundMe that we could have bought Biz Dev Dale like one of those helmets that's like really, really long in the back.
Yeah.
I wish we would have bought him one of those.
There was like this 18-year-old kid there that was like 100 yards away, just kind of like heckling, like what he was like yelling, what'd they do? What'd they do? What'd they do? So it's good to have that edge too.
Well, shout out to Biz Dev, shout out to Rooney. It is the NHL trade deadline was today. What was kind of cool is they aired Tradecentre, which is what's normally on TSN. They aired that on ESPN Plus. I bit the bullet, and I ended up getting ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu. I don't know how that happened. I'm pretty sure Hal did a free trial. Let's do NHL news. We'll talk about that really quick. So.
Can you just You should probably just continue on your thought, no?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I had a question for you. What did you think of Trade Center? I thought it was way cooler than the normal shit that we get.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely better. I was so mad, so I did. I got a free ESPN Plus trial to watch it today. Still kind of pisses me off that, like, I know I'm going to have to get ESPN now to, like, watch that type of stuff next year, but it is a good luxury. Dude, I turned on NHL Network, and it was Brian Lawton and one other person just, like, sitting in a studio together, and I was so mad. I was like, there is no way I'm going to let Brian Lawton ramble to me for 18 hours today, so it was good to watch that. It's definitely, like, an upgrade. You know what I mean? It just feels like when you're watching, like, the NFL draft, and, like, they have different angles, and they're, like, prepared for slow spots instead of just, like, it getting awkward. You know what I mean?
They had the tradie bunch, dude. They had cool segments. I thought.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know that was that sick. I thought
I met the O-Dog. I'd never met the O-Dog before, and he had a fucking earring. You never even told me about that.
Yeah. So I mean, are you team O-Dog? That's kind of a big.
That made me so team O-Dog to be like. I don't know. I just feel like I would love to get a beer with that guy.
So the rumor too, the other rumor, the elephant in the room we got to address on that panel is Craig Button. I don't know. So he looks like he's on a bar fight, and I don't know.
He looked like he got fucked up, dude.
I saw our mentions. I saw you tweeted something about it. Somebody, I think it was a pickleball accident.
More than one person, because I tried looking it up, and I saw pickleball listed a ton of times. So he just what's a pickleball? I'm assuming
it's kind of like racquetball. It's a similar thing like racquetball, and part of me thinks it's just a cover up.
I mean, it looks like a perfectly executed punch to Craig Button's left side of his face.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think I feel like that network knew it was the biggest one of the biggest days of the year for them. They're like programming and it's like, do we want our insider coming fresh off a fight or just like tell him that he like tripped playing pickleball and everyone will look away, you know?
Dude, I can't. And you want to know what? I'm going to change this on the fly. We normally do heroes and zeros where we think of our stuff. Our heroes and zeros this week, you have to pick one hero and 1 0 from the panel that was on Trade Center. Somebody who impressed you and somebody who didn't really impress you. I think you should be able to figure it out.
No, can you go first?
Yeah, when we get to it. Yeah. Whenever we get there. I was thinking about all like the new analysts that we got to kind of see today that we're not normally accustomed to, and like there were a couple that stood out that I thought were sweet, and there were a couple where I was like, why is this guy even here?
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'll think about that right now.
Thank you. But yeah, let's just kind of get into the trades. I'm just going to kind of list them off and we'll figure it out from there. So we're going to go with most recent to least recent. I think the most recent one was the Capitals got forward Anthony Mantha from the Red Wings for Jacob Vrana, Richard Panik, a 2021 first, and a 2022 second round pick. I have trouble trying to break down. To me, in a weird way, I feel like this trade's really even. Like everybody's saying that the Red Wings, like it's fleece season, fleece the Capitals, but Anthony Mantha is a hell of a player. He's a big forward. He's heavy on the forecheck. He can fill in for Tom Wilson when he gets suspended. Like there's things that Anthony Mantha is going to bring to the table for the Capitals that I think he's going to, and he's young, right? Like he's not old. He's I don't think he's a prospect, but he's a younger guy. The Red Wings, they got Jacob Vrana. I don't know much about him. I just know that the Capitals fucking love this kid, and I know he's really fast. Richard Panik, I feel like, but you get the 2021 first overall pick, which will end up being probably a late pick, and then a 2022 second round pick. What do you have on this one?
Yeah, I think this is a great trade by the Red Wings. I think Stevie Y, once again, is starting to flex on people, and this is like one of those first of very small moves that I think is going to put his team over the hump. One, I get your point on Anthony Mantha. He's just not that to me. I don't really know how to describe it to you. I just always envision him as this like Cam Neely, like Eric Lindros power forward, but that's not what I see him play ever. Like ever. He's just inconsistent, and I think he's one of those guys, kind of like how Kreider was to Rangers fans forever, where it's just like this freak of nature. He's a freak of nature. He has all the skill in the world, but it just doesn't seem like it can happen every night, or he shoots himself in the foot. That's Anthony Mantha to me. So you look at the other end, right? You have Jacob Vrana, won a cup, young Czech goal scorer. I think he's like 2 years younger than Mantha, maybe only one. I don't know. I think it's a good move for them. I looked up one stat that I thought was crazy I found online. Past 3 seasons, 349 skaters have played 2,000 or more minutes of 5-on-5 hockey. Jacob Vrana's fifth in goals per 60 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And the only people in front of him, Austin Matthews, Ovechkin, Brendan Gallagher, and David Pastrnak. So, like, if you look at his numbers, he scores goals. If you look at the Red Wings, they don't score goals. Right now, they have 2 10-goal scorers on their team. One's Robbie Fabry. Shout out to him, kind of a comeback. And the other, I'm blanking. It's that huge dude. I think he just bundled somebody, Adam Ern. Adam Ern plays like people think Mantha plays, if that makes sense. We can maybe get to that because I don't even think that was on the list. I don't know. I just think it's a good trade for the Red Wings. Like, I get what you're saying, but as a Capitals perspective, like, it doesn't feel like that much of an upgrade. And then you toss the picks on that, and it was like the biggest price at the deadline. I don't know. I would be happy if I was a Red Wings fan. I'd be out if I was a Caps fan. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you for your opinion.
Next do you have one. Any thoughts on that? Like,
I don't know. I don't watch enough Red Wings. I just kind of know Anthony Mantha's, like, I guess, reputation of being like a bigger power forward kind of player. He'll be in front of the net. Poor
man's like the Capitals because they have scumbags already. Maybe like he'll be able to find his true scumbag identity, right?
You would hope.
That's what you're hoping for. Yeah. Also, I don't think we ever brought this up really quick, but on the Red Wings. Sucks. I just noticed Bobby Ryan's on the IR. Kind of stinks. Like, he came back. I think he had like 14 points in 30-something games, but kind of stinks. I feel like he was finding his groove as a veteran on that team. I think he would have definitely been a name that might have gotten moved. So, sucks to see.
And we're a Bobby Ryan podcast, so thank you for that, Hal. Next one, I don't know much about this guy. Madison Bowie in a 5th-round pick goes to Vancouver for a 4th-round pick.
I don't understand. Vancouver's an enigma to me because this trade really, I think, is absolutely nothing. I think Madison Bowie is like arguably one of the worst defensemen in the NHL. Like, he's like a 7th, 8th defenseman. I think he makes like $700K a year. So this trade's pretty irrelevant. I don't get the Canucks. Like, they drafted all these guys. You look at like Pettersson, Besser, Horvat. Like, I'm blanking on all of the young Quinn Hughes, right? You look at all those players and it's like, wow, that's like a management I would want. But it just seems like asset management, contracts, trades. They just signed Pearson to like a good amount of money last week. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just weird to me. Like, what did the Vancouver Canucks really get out of Madison Bowie right now?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, to me, they traded Jordy Ben to the Jets, so maybe kind of replacing one of your top 6 defensemen with somebody you think can kind of log minutes, but the Canucks aren't going to make the playoffs this year, so they're going to end up what do they end up getting? They get Madison Bowie in a 5th round and a 6th round for Jordy Ben in a 4th round.
So they like basically moved up around for all of that, and they just like decreased their defensemen.
Essentially, they actually moved down around.
And if you just want to move on, I feel like Jordy Ben is so much less cool to me than his brother Jamie. I know obviously there's a huge skill difference. I just never like Jordy Ben being like my team's like 5th, 6th, 7th defenseman never really enticed me. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess, but as a Rangers fan who had seen Mark Stahl play for years, I would have fucking given my right not to have Jordy Ben on the blue line. So, like,
yeah, fair enough.
I love that was a name that was being tossed around, how Mark Stahl could really help out different teams. Looks like nobody wanted him.
You know what's cool, though, to think about, too, is like guys like Jordy Ben, it must feel pretty like a flex. Like, you saw Victor Mete get waived yesterday. To get waived the day before the trade deadline's a tough look because it's nice to like be like, I'm worth a 5th, I'm worth a 6th, like still have some value there. Get your name on the transactions that way instead of getting sent to the taxi squad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to hang out on the taxi squad, dude. Capitals also got Michael Raffl from the Flyers for a 5th-round pick. I hate Michael Raffl. Like, just something about him. I don't know what it is. Like, if I ever made the NHL and I was playing against a team that had Michael Raffl, the entire game I would just try to piss him off.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is like, I feel like this is the insider information that maybe that the trade like show today was missing. So I just like how you started out. Like, I hate Michael Raffl. I agree. To be honest with you, like Michael Raffl to me is someone who's been in the league way too long. I remember when he came from Austria. I'm pretty sure he spent some time in Adirondack. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know.
I don't know. It just seemed like he kind of had some hype to him. He's a serviceable player, but again, like I feel like if you look at the Capitals, like bottom 6, like Garnett Hathaway, they have that Dowd kid. I feel like their bottom 6 a little scrappier, plays a little more energy and juice than what you're going to be getting from Raffl. But Raffl's also like one of those guys where it's like, okay, he's our 14th forward, and at least if he's on the ice, he's a net positive. Like,
yeah, no, I'd agree with that. If somebody gets hurt, it's easy to just plug him in kind of anywhere and move people up and whatever. So for depth forward going into the playoffs for a 5th-round pick, I don't think it's awful. This one kind of confused me. Hayden Fleury went to the Ducks, and the Hurricanes got, Yanni Hakanpää in a 2022 6th-round pick. I definitely got that one wrong, but I thought Hayden Fleury was supposed to be a pretty good defenseman. Why did they trade him?
Yeah, I don't know. I think kind of what happened there, I don't know much about Hakanpää and a 6th-round pick. He's basically like he was a former 1st-round pick. He's like 24, 25 now. Maybe I'm over-guessing his age, and he's just never put up points. If you look at it, though, like the Hurricanes are stacked on D, right? Like they've always had Slavin, Dougie Hamilton. Like I feel like their top 4 D of the Hurricanes is one of the more well-respected D lines in the NHL. Am I wrong on that?
I would agree.
So just
he sucks.
Yeah, so just not a lot of time to be had there, and he kind of was like the stay-at-home guy playing sheltered minutes on the Hurricanes. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting trade to me. Again, I don't know much about the Finnish dude that they traded, but a new start, and you're looking at a former 1st-round draft pick that's a defenseman that could work out. But at the same time, like, come on, like we've seen enough McElraths where you get excited. Like, can you name me some D-bust? Like, Bruins, I think, like Matt Lashoff. Shout out Matt Lashoff. But, like,
Zaboral.
I mean, Zaboral's still on the team.
I'm kidding, dude.
Who do you have? I'm trying to think, like, Stevie Eminger. Like,
was Steven Eminger, was he a high pick?
He was a 1st-rounder. I know that. I think he went, like, 20th overall, but kind of getting off topic.
I love Steve Eminger. He's great. The next couple of trades, there was a Maple Leaf Sharks trade to Antis Suomela for Alexander Barbanov. I guess that was on TSN. They were talking how that was just a contract trade. Eric Branson went to the Predators for a 7th-rounder. Ben Hutton went to the Leafs for a 5th-rounder. And Eric Gustafsson went to the Flyers for another 7th-rounder. Branson used to be nails, didn't he?
Yeah, kind of. I feel like it's weird, too. Remember he started out on the Senators this year? And, like, I think he was their assistant captain, and then he just got traded twice. Always seems to get traded. I was shocked when he left Florida the first time. Right? And it's just kind of been, like, a weird career for him. He was a high draft pick, too. But I don't know, man. I guess that's a good move for the Predators. Kind of weird looking back. Remember, like, 2 months ago, like, Ryan Ellis was going to get traded, Ekholm was going to get traded, and now they're trading for Branson.
Funny the way it is.
Yeah. I don't have much. Ben Hutton, former Maine player. That was a weird one to me. Ben Hutton, everywhere he's gone, his team sucked. He was on like the Kings, the Ducks, and the Canucks when they were bad before they got good. So he's been kind of on a tough run there. I don't really see what that is. Eric Gustafsson.
Gustafsson.
Gustafsson, right. Flyers fans seem so pumped about him. I don't know if it was like this year or last year, but I remember someone like ironically tweeting Gustafsson for the Norris, and like I haven't been able to get that out of my mind. I don't know if it was a joke, but that's a weird one. Like you waive Mete and then you bring in Gustafsson. Do you have any takes on any of those defensemen?
I just know that Gustafsson, he was on the Adirondack team for a little bit, right?
I don't know. I don't even know if this is the same Gustafsson.
I think there was a Gustafsson that was on like either the Flames or the Phantoms that he was just ripping up downtown Glens Falls. So I don't know if it's that guy or not. But the guy I'm thinking of did pretty well in the blue-collar city of Glens Falls, New York. Ben Hutton, I don't have anything. I like Branson. Big guy, tough. Log minutes. If I don't even know if the Predators are going to make the playoffs. But
Eric Gustafsson. So here's the thing, dude. Eric Gustafsson came from Chicago. That Gustafsson that you're thinking about, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll try to look him up. Different player.
Okay, thank you. The Panthers got Sam Bennett from the Flames for Emil Heineman and a 2022 second-round pick. I like this for the Panthers. The Panthers have played pretty good hockey this year. Sam Bennett's going to be pretty serviceable. Everybody talks about he's a big playoff guy, plus he's going to have the mustache. I'm sure Yandel will love it. That's what I have on that. What do you have on this one?
No, dude, I'm pretty messed up right now because this guy's name is also Eric Gustafsson. So they were two defensemen.
Yeah, bro. So I'm not that. Okay, that makes me feel way better.
But it was the wrong Eric Gustafsson. But that's nice to know, dude. This threw me off because the Eric Gustafsson that played for the Adirondack Phantoms in the early 2000s went to Northern Michigan University. He was a Swede, though. I don't know, man. That was an interesting find by you. So shout out to you. I hate this trade. I don't understand from the Panthers' perspective why Sam Bennett's worth that much. Like, I know he went off in the playoffs last year, and he has a cool mustache, right? Like, he grows a mustache in the playoffs. Everyone knows he like throws the body a little bit, but it's not like he's Blake Coleman. Like, I feel like everyone wanted that Blake Coleman, Barkley Goodrow thing from last year, where you bring some like snarl, and you don't necessarily get goal scorers, but you get snarl at the trade deadline. Like, people forget Blake Coleman put up 20 goals back-to-back years for the Devils. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Blake Coleman was a top 6 forward before he went to the Lightning, and then he dropped down a line. Whereas I just feel like Sam Bennett's going to be like a third, fourth liner on the Panthers, maybe, and you give up a ton for someone who's kind of unproven. Like, if Sam Bennett wasn't drafted in the top 5 of the draft the year he went, like, would this even happen? Like, is that just kind of based on that? Do you think I'm off base here?
Bro, didn't you tell me a stat a couple of podcasts ago that Sam Bennett had the most goals for his draft class? Or was that Sean Monahan?
Sean Monahan.
Okay. Well, then, I don't know. I'm putting out on this trade then. I thought he was supposed to be sick. I'm not prepared with Western Conference hockey as well. I don't watch a ton of Florida Panthers games since Mellanby hasn't been on the team. So, we're going to move on from that one. The Avalanche got Carl Soderberg again. Dude, he's 35 years old. When did that happen? I feel like he was like fucking not that old at all. They got him for Josh Dickinson and Ryder Ralston. Please tell me Ryder Ralston's the son of Brian Ralston.
That sounds like it, right? Because like you hear, the Ryder sounds like the name that, it is Brian Ralston's son. Brian Ralston has 2 sons. One is Ryder and the other one's Stone. So that's probably like the most
Stone Ralston.
That's like the most Brian Ralston names of all time. I don't know. He's supposed to be a good prospect, and I think he plays at Notre Dame. I just looked up his stats. He looked like he struggled last year. To me, why are the Avalanche trading for Carl Soderberg? Like, the Avalanche are the best team in the league. Like, I just don't think Soderberg's the missing link. I think their top 9's filled. Are you going to put him on the 4th line? Is he just an insurance? Like, he's an old guy who knows the guys because he played here a few years back, and it's just like, if we get in the position, at least we have Soderberg.
You know what you get with them. He must be good in the room, otherwise they wouldn't bring him around. And again, these are just teams that are going to make the playoffs that just need that extra depth. While we're talking about the Avalanche, I kind of put this down. The Colorado Avalanche have tied a franchise record for most points after 40 games. I understand it's COVID and you're playing like the same teams, but like, to me, the old Avalanche teams of like Sakic, Forsberg, they seem way cooler than the new Avalanche team. And the new Avalanche team just set a record.
Yeah, but I think that if you just have to remember that Avalanche team, I think was like rivals with the Red Wings during that time. That's when the Red Wings were like also the sickest team ever. So a little bit of different scenario, but I agree with that. I just wanted to go back Carl Soderberg too. People forget he was 27, 28 when he came into the NHL. Now he's 35. Like, I did not think when the Bruins signed Carl Soderberg, who we traded the rights to Carl Soderberg for Hannu Toivonen to the St. Louis Blues, and then Soderberg played in the Swedish 2 League for like 6 years and then came to the NHL when he was 27, and now he's a 35-year-old getting traded to the Avalanche at the trade deadline. Kind of funny the way it is there.
Funny, dude. This whole deadline's been pretty funny the way it is. The Golden Knights got Matthias Yanmark and a 5th-round pick for a 2nd, a 3rd, and the Sharks retained a portion of the contract, so they ended up getting a 5th. Is Matthias Yanmark good?
I don't know, dude. I think so. He was. I don't know if you noticed this on the trade deadline thing all day on their show. Matthias Yanmark was their like number 1 guy on the board. Kind of threw me off. Matthias Yanmark is like a 2-way player, right? Like a middle 6 winger who's been kind of hot this year scoring. But if you look at his career stats, it tells you otherwise. Like he's a bottom 6 forward for sure. I don't know. The reason I like this trade for the Golden Knights is because to me this is more back to their roots. It's like, stop going out there and getting the Pacioretty's at the trade deadlines. Like, you guys are built on Matthias Yanmark, and he's a 2-way Swede winger who can maybe pot 20 a year. That's the Vegas Golden Knights bread and butter. You know what I mean? So I think he'll be a fit. I think it's a good move there because, like, I feel like the Golden Knights had to do something. Like, they're kind of in cap hell, but they want one more piece to compete with the Avalanche, and I think they got it. I don't know really.
Piece.
No, but it's something. Like, it appeases the fan. Like, if you're the GM, you can be like, what do you mean we didn't do anything? Like, we got the #1 trade bait.
We got Matthias fucking Yanmark out.
Yeah, and that's great. It's crazy to say that, but like in a normal trade deadline, I feel like we would maybe not be talking about Matthias Yanmark, but he was like the big name.
If I did like a fantasy draft on NHL 21 and I simulated like the last couple of rounds and I was stuck with Matthias Yanmark, I think I'd probably trade him.
What?
Yeah, I'm not a big Yanmark guy.
All right, what do we have?
Freddie Clayson went to the Lightning for Magnus Chorna, a goalie who went to the Sharks. I didn't even know Freddie Clayson was still in the league. I love Freddie Clayson when he was on the Rangers. Freddie Clayson, go get your ring, buddy. Get it with the Lightning. You know Kucherov's coming back. They just picked up. I mean, this is huge for my boy Freddie. So shout out to him.
I actually don't remember you being a huge. Well, I think I do remember you being a Freddie Clayson fan, but like not really. Yeah, I don't know. How about the name Magnus Krona? I looked him up. He's a rookie. He just signed. He went to Denver. Magnus, or maybe he didn't sign. Maybe they just traded the rights to him. But Magnus Krona, that's kind of a name.
I've never met anybody named Magnus before.
Right.
Confidently.
I've never met Magnus in Greenfield.
Dmitry Kulikov went to the Oilers for a 4th-round pick. Remember when he was supposed to be sick? Like, there's a lot of like names that were supposed to be sick that I just didn't think ended up being that sick in this deadline, right?
Agree. I think that's kind of like one of the overarching themes. He was like a top 14th overall of the Panthers back in 2009. I got to be honest with you, dude. Like, when Kulikov was healthy, and I think there was a stretch, like, I think I was kind of a Kulikov guy.
He was kind of sick. Wasn't he like kind of a scumbag too?
Yeah, and then he still did. He kind of played a dirtier, like a tougher style of hockey, and I think injuries have just always caught up to him, dude. Maybe Kulikov.
He's a poor man's Alexei Mclennan. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, and I think if you're the Oilers, more I think about this, it doesn't hurt to have Kulikov back there for you. Like, no. It's not really going to solve any problems, but like it could help.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so maybe Kulikov wins his cup, and then he like goes back to the KHL.
I don't think that's going to happen, man. But funny the way it is, anything's possible, dude. Adam Gaudette went to Chicago for Matthew Highmore. This is just your classic Blackhawks get this skilled winger that was supposed to be good that's not that good that they're going to put on a line with Patrick Kane that's going to score 100 goals.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree, dude. I don't think I'm an Adam Gaudette guy, and I actually don't really have any reasoning whatsoever.
It's probably because he wore number 88 because he thought he was sick. Now he can't wear it anymore.
He just like, all right, so I think he won the Hobey Baker in Northeastern. He put up a ton of points. He's kind of been inconsistent. I think he put 30 points up last year. And like, to me, I always thought he had high potential as like someone who's going to score a ton in the NHL and everything like this. And I know we don't agree with analytic people, but analytic people think Adam Gaudette stinks. Like, he does not drive offense. Like, all the things you think Adam Gaudette would.
I love him, man. I love him.
But he doesn't have the other end of his game to like compensate that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they're talking about like a grinder. They're talking about a skill guy, and they're saying he can't do it. So you're just telling me now you're team Adam Gaudette?
Yeah, I hope they put him on a line with Kane. He puts up 40 goals.
Yeah, you would. I mean, I feel like he probably leads the league in TikToks, dude. Like, you would be a Gaudette guy.
We know PK Subban leads the league in TikTok. Speaking of which, did you see him get cut open had to have been with a skate the other night?
Yeah, I saw like the pictogram of it.
And he said he didn't miss a shift? That's insane.
Yeah, crazy. But like, dude, I feel like usually there's never a photo of that, no? And it looks like they like kind of got the social team in there to like get a couple
yeah, hey, get the marketing department down the train.
You never see that.
He wants a selfie.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not. This was my favorite trade of the whole deadline. Jeff Carter goes to the Penguins for a 3rd-round pick and a 4th-round pick. Something is giving me some real weird vibes that Jeff Carter is going to fucking go off for the Penguins. Like, I feel like this is such a good deal for them.
Definitely could, dude. I don't hate that thought process at all. Do I personally think it's going to happen? I'm not sure. This is one of those ones I've not watched enough Jeff Carter in the last year or so to really say. I know his numbers dipped this year. But you know what you're getting, like a Stanley Cup guy.
This is that classic, like, really good veterans getting traded at the deadline to try to go win another cup. And he doesn't have the same thing that he used to have, but, like, I mean, Carter's won a couple cups. He can still shoot the fucking puck. I'm pretty sure he's good on draws. Like, everything that you would want with Carter, to me, makes sense.
Yeah, so I kind of just want your opinion on this, and I don't have an answer yet. I'm just trying to feel it out. So right now, and I think there's a couple of guys injured. So I think Malkin's out right now, Kapanen's out right now. Actually, there's a ton of guys out right now for the Penguins. But you look at their lineup, like
So
right now, the first line's Crosby, Gensel, Rust. Do you put Carter on a wing up there? Do you put Carter on a line with like McCann and Zucker? Like, what do you think his role is? Do you think when
put him with
Malkin gets
Sid.
healthy?
Put him with fucking Sid, dude. Guy can
Oh,
score goals. He's done it. Now he's going to be with arguably the best distributor in the entire NHL. Like,
yeah.
that's pretty good.
Do you ever like wonder? The most mysterious group of like hockey players to me, I think it's always going to be those like early like 2010 LA Kings teams with like Mike Carter and like Jared Stahl and like what were those guys up to? You know what I mean? Like it seemed like Jeff Carter was banging wasn't Jeff Carter like banging somebody in Philadelphia or something?
We don't know that, and we don't really talk about it either.
That's my point though. No one knows. They were just kind of like the wild cards of the league, and then you
There were
heard
rumors. There were a lot of alleged rumors.
Didn't like Jeff Carter like went to Columbus for like 5 minutes, and I think he was like, "Get like no thanks, like please send me to California." Do you know what I mean,
Yeah.
dude? I like Jeff Carter. I'm not trying to slander Jeff Carter. Just kind of a weird career, weird arc, but he won.
He won, dude, and he might win again.
I don't think so. All right, what do we got next?
Your Boston Bruins got Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar for Anders Bjork and a second-round pick. There's a video out right now of Jack Eichel interviewing Anders Bjork, and they were talking about like how everybody sees different colors. So like you know that him and Eichel are going to be hotboxing the car on the way to the rink.
Yeah, probably, man. I don't know. I'll miss Anders Bjork.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you ask Ked, he's your best power play player.
Definitely not, because I don't think he ever saw any time on the power play. He was.
I don't know how I watched that Bruins game, and I was like, put 10 on the ice, put 10 on the ice.
Yeah, none of that was power play time though. I can't believe we're starting all of this out by talking about Anders Bjork like that was the big name in there. I think though, but if we want to start there, it sucks to see him go. It wasn't going to work because if you look at our left wing side, like we have a bunch of wingers in front of him. I don't know. Maybe it works in Buffalo. I think stats show that he just can't score. He's electric at times. He moves his feet. He hustles. I think he definitely has a place in the NHL. But if you think he's going to be a goal scorer, I think you're wrong. Sucks to say. I like him a lot, though. And I think if you look at the other side of the trade, we'll just talk small guys. I like Curtis Lazar, too, for whatever reason. Sabre fans are really pumped about it. They think it'll fit. This past year, Corrali, Wagner have like started to get older, and like they've lost a little pep in their step. And Frederick got injured, and now he's kind of soft. I don't know what's happening there. And I think Lazar kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder. That could work. So I'm kind of pumped for Curtis Lazar. Do you have any thoughts on me being pumped for Curtis Lazar?
I would be. I remember him when he played World Juniors. He plays a really hard game.
Yeah, he was like captain, and then he was like on the Suns when he was like 19.
I think that was his problem. Is I think he was a case that you brought him up too early. That would be like my guess with him. But the way he plays, he's kind of like a poor man's Brendan Gallagher, I guess. Kind of the same type of player.
He's a fourth liner.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then Taylor Hall, man, are you excited about Taylor Hall? Are you nervous about Taylor Hall? Are you excited to be the biggest Taylor Hall fan ever?
I mean, we're talking about like a trade with, and I know everything's not apples to oranges or whatever they say, apples to apples.
No, apples to oranges, like, I think is the right terminology.
So, I wasn't really that pumped to get Taylor Hall because, truthfully, the last like 5 years, this is like the lowest I've been on a Bruins team going to the trade deadline. So I didn't really want him to spend too much, but after the trade happened, I'm totally okay with the price. Like a second Anders Bjork, like let's let it rip, see what happens. If he can give us a second line of scoring, then that changes a shit ton of things for us. So I'm all about it. I thought value is fair. He's definitely down this year. He has like 2 goals. We'll see what happens. If it works, it's awesome. If it doesn't work, I don't know, maybe see you later, Don Sweeney. But the one thing that I am nervous for is now we're going to have to get into like contract talks with this dude like coming this summer. Like, does he want to sign an extension? Like, how much are we paying Taylor Hall? Like, are we going to try to extend Taylor Hall before this season's over, before we even know what we have? Do I really want to get wrapped up in Taylor Hall long-term years, or I just want him one and done? Some people in Boston tend to think that if we just traded those assets for him, then we should sign him long-term. My thought is cut it and run. Like, let's just see what we get. Let's get some magic. Taylor Hall, you know what Taylor Hall does do? He usually performs in contract years, and like he kind of blew it. COVID kind of screwed him if you think about it. Like if COVID didn't happen, he would have gotten paid this past summer. I don't think this whole situation would have even happened, but it did.
Not
and
that he didn't get paid. He got paid $8 million a year
for a single year, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Taylor Hall would have been in that situation. Now he's going to a possible playoff team, and he has 2 months to try to get another big paycheck.
I think when you're playing hockey and you're on a team that wins, I think the pressure's off that you need to do everything you can to make sure that happens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's going to be on a team arguably for the first time in his entire career where he can tell himself, if I don't show up tonight, there's a good chance we still win. Did you hear the Oilers? They weren't that good. When he was on the Sabres, obviously, where they weren't that good. When he was on the Devils, if he didn't show up, the Devils didn't show up. Like, he's now on a team that's good enough where if he doesn't show up, it's not that big of a deal, and I think that could be big for him.
Did you see his quote? His quote was like he's just excited to be on a team where he's one of the guys. Like he doesn't want to be. Taylor Hall like basically told the media like I don't want to be like. Yeah, I don't want to be the guy who gets blamed, and I don't want to be the number one center. I think that's cool, dude. If that takes pressure off Taylor Hall and he can just like rip slap shots on our second line, like Taylor Hall, like David Krejci gets Taylor Hall now. Like I love Nick Ritchie. I love everything that Nick Ritchie has given to this team this year. He's a real heart and soul guy out there, just chugging along. But it's quite the upgrade, and I think the reality, depending on how our lines go, our third line now being Coyle, DeBrusk, and Ritchie,
it's a heavy line
upgrade from what's just happened. So if that ends up happening, I like us. Our D, we can get to that. But that's what I got on the trade.
It's a heavy fucking.
Oh, and if you're a Sabres fan, how do you feel? So this is the other thing. So I guess it basically reportedly came out he had a no trade move clause or whatever. So it was basically like he wanted to go to the Bruins. They had no choice. Yeah. Knowing that, I guess as you're a Sabres fan, are you okay with it? I don't think Sabres fans can be that mad. Like that's the contract he signed.
Bro, you know that he wasn't going to sign there long term. And no pipe dream of the Sabres going to make the playoffs and Taylor Hall was never going to want to leave Buffalo. You signed Taylor Hall to move him at the deadline. And and if the best price that you could get for that, that's better than nothing.
And I think originally, too, they thought he might score like 20 by this point. And then this is a completely different ball game. Like, do you know what I mean?
If anything, I'd be pissed off at Taylor Hall about that for only having 2 goals this year. I'd be more mad about that than him being like, oh, I can only going to go to Boston.
And it's not
like he put up 20 goals, or if he put up 12 goals and like 14 assists, 20 assists or whatever, that price tag would have been significantly higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has 2
I agree, but it is kind of crazy to think about, like, ultimately, Yanmark and Bennett got more than Taylor Hall. Like, that still doesn't feel right to me. I don't know if I'm wrong in that. I think that's how Taylor Hall kind of pigeonholed him, but you still got a free second.
I think Taylor Hall also has worse numbers this year than both of those players.
And
like,
if you're a Sabres fan, too, it'll probably feel pretty good to not remember, like, Taylor Hall as a Sabre. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the long scheme of things, it'll be like, who?
Yeah, you weren't getting the MVP Taylor Hall. You were getting the Buffalo Sabres Taylor Hall.
Do you think in like 20 years Taylor Hall is a Taylor Hall Sabres jersey is like a funny jersey, or do you think it's like is it just so irrelevant that no one will even think it's funny?
The second one. For sure. I think it'll help the Bruins. The Islanders got Braden Coburn for a 7th round pick. Cool. Braden Coburn, sick. The Maple Leafs got Big Save Dave Rittich for a 3rd round pick.
Was that his nickname?
Yeah. So the Leafs have Freddie Anderson, who's hurt. They have Jack Campbell. They have another. I think they have Hutchinson, and now they have Big Save Dave. So a lot of goaltending going through the pipelines in Toronto.
Wait. Why are you trying to run through Big Save Dave? So what is your?
Because, bro, we have so many things to get to.
No, some of those are old. Just go with the flow. Big Save Dave.
Big Save Dave.
Do you think he's going to be successful with the Leafs? Like,
I think if the Leafs have to put Big Save Dave in the lineup, something went wrong.
I agree. And to follow up on that, Jack Campbell, really cool story. I like the guy. His numbers are insane. Who do you think is the starting goalie at the end of the year? If Anderson comes back, do you think you have to give it to Anderson?
Yeah, Freddie Anderson. But if Freddie Anderson fucks up, it can be a quick whoop, see ya. Whoop.
And I mean, then at the end of the day, that's where our boy Big Save Dave comes in. So that's all I have.
Big fucking Save Dave. Who's Mike Riley? You guys got him from the Senators for a 3rd round pick. No idea who this guy is.
Yeah, you won't like this guy either. Just because it's basically I don't know. He's a Illinois guy. He played for the Gophers. He kind of bounced around. He was a draft pick of the Habs. We used to play him. Oh, of the Wild. He went Wild, Habs, Sens, and then he kind of had his breakout year. This year he was playing with Zaitsev. I don't know. He's kind of an offensive defenseman, left-hand shot, which we need. 19 points. He's got 19 assists in 40 games this year, so that's not bad. 0 goals, but 19 assists. He moves the puck around. The only issues I have with him are the following. Number one, people are slotting him to be our second pair D while everyone gets healthy. That concerns me just because it's like, are we really going Mike Riley? Number two, on Twitter, he goes by Mikey Riley. No C with a K, I think. So Mikey Riley. That concerns me. I don't know if
you had a C, it'd be Mickey, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I didn't really think that one through all the way, but
yeah, this guy named
Mickey
Mike.
Riley.
He doesn't like being called Mickey. He likes being called Mikey.
Do you have anything on Mickey?
I think we just got to call this guy Mickey. I'm sure the Bruins social media team will make a cool nickname for him like they did with the last big-ass defenseman who got his shit rocked. Who was that? Who got hit by Tanev?
Tenorti?
What was the you guys had a nickname for him. He was on the team for like fucking 13 minutes.
Yeah, that's like where our one prospect goalie now is Darth Vlad or whatever. It's like, bro.
Yeah, I hate that. Is Jeremy Swayman okay?
What do you mean?
We'll get into it when we get into Bruin stuff. This is another pretty big get, I think, for the deadline. I like this one a lot. You're going to come up with a way to hate it because it's the Leafs, but the Leafs got Nick Foligno and Stefan Noesen. I don't really know much about him, but the Blue Jackets get a first and a fourth, and the Sharks get a fourth. Nick Foligno to the Maple Leafs. I feel like this is what every Maple Leaf fan has been complaining about wanting on their team. They just got. Like Simmons was a little bit old. Clarkson was never really panned out to do what he wanted to do. Like I feel like the Leafs always kind of want to bring in a tough guy who can play hockey and it just never really works out. And now they got somebody who can do both of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with that, dude. I don't know. At some point, I just feel like you're collecting too many old guys. Is that messed up of me to say? Like, you got Spezza, Thornton, Simmons, all guys south of 40 up front. I know everyone else is fast, but I just feel like they have character this year. And I don't necessarily hate the trade. Like, I understand because if you look at Foligno, like especially who's the dude who's going off this year that drives me insane? Left wing. Hyman. You look at Hyman. You look at how Hyman's producing. You can move him around now. Like you just have even more options if you're a Leafs fan. Kind of pisses me off the more I think about it. Just because he'll probably fit. You can move him up any 3 roles, any lines. But the one thing I did want to comment, I just think a first is high if you look at what everyone else was getting. Like I feel like Kekalainen kind of did a good job in getting value for it. I think it's a trade he didn't necessarily have to make. Do you agree on that? I feel like Columbus got good return for like the market. And if you're a Leafs fan, it's like, well, fuck it. Like we hope that's the 32nd pick. Yeah,
1,000%. If you're a Leafs fan, you're thrilled with this. I don't think there's a single Maple Leafs fan out there that would be upset about this trade.
Trust the
process. This is year 6 or 7 of the 5-year plan. So,
and it looks good, dude.
It does look. They look really good this year. They're playing in a division that I don't think was even close to being the hardest division to play in. Like to me, they'll be one of the final 4 teams to make the cup unless they run into a hot Canadiens team.
Oh, speaking of Canadiens, I think that's the next one, isn't it?
Yep. Wow, that good segue, Ked. Canadiens get John Merrill, and the Red Wings get Hayden Verbeek in a 2021 5th-round pick. Are you pumped up about John Merrill, dude?
Kind of. I don't really have too much on this. I don't know why I actually like John Merrill. Do you have any opinion on him? Maybe he's more just like a John Moore 2.0. Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, so that's good enough.
Okay. I don't know that name. We're going to move on. The Lightning get David Savard.
The Devils, this was a weird one to me. I actually wanted to bring this up. Jonas Siegenthaler, I actually think, is a very low-key defensive defenseman who – tell me the next time the Rangers play the Devils, because don't the Rangers play the Devils like 4 times?
Yeah, next 4 games.
Yeah. Please tell me what you think of Jonas Siegenthaler, because I think he's a good defensive defenseman. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but a 3rd-round pick, dude, that's high. Look at what all the other people are getting. A 3rd-round pick compared to all the other defensemen that are fetching like 6th, 7th.
Was
Maybe
that guy
he is
just not
good.
playing? Like the Capitals are going to make the playoffs. Did they just not think that this guy had any like role on the team?
I think Chara kind of took some of his role. If you look at it too, like defensive defensemen, they have Orlov, who I know plays two ways, but Orlov, Chara, Brendan Dillon, like you have some heavy guys in there that play that game, so maybe just repetitive.
True. Good call. Yeah,
Do you think in the NHL
about Jonas Siegenthaler? What?
Do you think in the NHL now, like, it seems like almost every team wants to basically have a puck mover and a stay at home as their like every single pair. It seems like every pair is kind of balanced like that. I think the only pair that's different is Taze and Makar maybe in Colorado, but it seems like they always try to separate those guys now.
Yeah, I mean Brendan Smith's with Libor Hayek. So
what does that equal?
Well, Brendan Smith he does both, and Hayek just looks like a scared little deer. But yeah, David Savard and local guy Brian Lashoff go to the Lightning. The Blue Jackets get a first, a third, and the Red Wings get a fourth. First round pick for David Savard. Okay,
yeah, I think he was the really hot commodity at the draft that I kind of heard about before when people were talking defensemen. Once Ekholm was out, it kind of shifted to David Savard. I just thought it's kind of a lot, dude. And if you're the Lightning, it's like go for it. I understand that Savard's salary got like retained 50%, so they can make it work under their fake cap hit numbers. But to me, dude, like, do the Lightning really need David Savard to get over the hump? Like, is that a stupid take of me? Like, should they just be all in because they're that good where they just need to trade every year? But
well, they just got another. I think their team's better now that David Savard's on it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, dude. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. I think if you're a fan who isn't in that like Central Division with the Lightning this year, you just have kind of ignored the fact that the Lightning are a thing, and when the playoffs come around, it's going to be a big time reality for a lot of teams, especially with Kucherov coming back.
Yeah, and people forget the Lightning are the only NHL team in history to win a championship in a bubble.
Facts. Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't really know what that means, but thanks.
One for one. The Colorado Avalanche get Devon Dubnick. The Sharks get Greg Patterson in a 5th round pick. Remember when Dubnick was good? Now I guess he's just not good anymore.
Yeah, I would actually compare. This is like, all right, Devon Dubnick's very similar to Jack Campbell. 1st round pick, has a tough time going when he's like 27, 28, finally hits his stride. Maybe Jack Campbell, like, you know what I mean? Dubnick was an all-star for a couple of years, had some good years for the Wild, and then just got old. Yeah. I think that's just what happened. So, I don't know. No real hate on Devon Dubnick. Kind of sucks it didn't work out for the Sharks. They can't find a goalie, and they seem to be trying to compete. So, that's tough. Although Martin Jones, what do you have him?
People forget that Martin Jones was on the Boston Bruins for a cup of coffee.
He's looked good in his like last 10 games. I think Martin Jones has been kind of putting the team on his back, so that would be a super weird development.
If Martin Jones finally figured it out.
Dude, well, this is a lot of people are saying that this trade is kind of the Sharks saying like, hey, Marty, like we believe in you, buddy. Like you're our number one, like go win games. And he's been kind of performing. So I don't know. Marty watch.
Watch out, Marty watch. Brandon Montour went to the Panthers for a 3rd round pick. Brandon Montour, defenseman.
I thought Brandon Montour was a really good defenseman when he was with the Ducks. Like, that was back when the Ducks had Hampus Lindholm and Vatanen and Manson and, like, that whole squad, Fowler all together. And then it kind of fell apart for the Sabres. They played him on his offhand a ton. I know that. He said he never really felt comfortable, never really felt like he had a role with the team, which I thought was an interesting quote. I don't know, dude. It looks like he kind of didn't project, but again, that's a good pick for the Panthers. I think I roasted the Panthers earlier. I don't remember what I roasted. Oh, for Sam Bennett. But, I mean, Sam Bennett and I think Montour both help him out somehow.
I like Brandon Montour. I think that's a good move for the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers, it'd be kind of cool to see them go on a little bit of a run. I wouldn't hate that. Back to the roots, dude. Get a Mellenby jersey. Who knows? Patrick Nemeth.
Wait, I don't have anything on Patrick Nemeth, dude.
Oh, thank God, dude. What about Riley Nash? Anything on Riley Nash?
Yeah, so this is really funny. You're probably actually really going to hate me for this. I almost made myself the zero of the week, but I found an account that I follow that tweets nothing but like analytics, and I actually really find it interesting. He like posts charts, like really easy charts to use. It's like Jay Fresh. I don't know if you've ever seen him before.
Oh my God, dude.
Do you know that guy?
Yeah.
I just read his charts. I just found his chart interesting because his chart basically came to the conclusion that he produces literally zero offense. but he's like arguably the best fourth line defensive center in the league. And like basically when Riley Nash is on the ice, they're not going to score, but you're not going to do anything, which maybe you take, dude, like for the Leafs fourth line. But at the same time, their fourth line right now is like Spezza, Thornton, and that rookie Robertson. I don't know where he fits in. Maybe this is just like a super depth thing.
Yeah, but a super depth thing is another cool thing, dude. You have another quarter. If somebody gets hurt, at least you have somebody who's not going to get scored on going in the lineup. It's not like it's a young kid who isn't like you know what I mean? Like this guy's done that. So.
Listen, dude, you're right. It's year 7. It's year 7 of the rebuild. If the Maple Leafs want to turn into a retirement home, be my guest.
It's year 7 of the 5-year plan. I don't want to do this next trade because I hate Brett Connolly. Are you good with this one? Like this trade, I hate it.
Yeah. Oh, I will mention though. I don't know if you just want to read it. So Blackhawks get Conley, Stillman, Borgstrom, and the Panthers get Lucas Carlson, Lucas Wallmark. Ton of just disappointments in there. I know there was a 7th-round pick. I think that's all it is. Henrik Borgstrom, when that kid came out of Denver, it was like this guy was a finalist for the Hobies from Finland. Like he's going to put up.
Watch.
Yeah, Henrik Borgstrom. So I don't have much either.
All right, thank God. And then this is going to be the last one. The Islanders got Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac from the Devils for a 1st-round pick, Mason Jost, AJ Greer, and a conditional 2022 4th-round pick. I think another one of the best trades, at least for the Islanders. This is huge for the Islanders.
Best trade of the deadline, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the Islanders, they get a guy who scores 20-plus goals a year, and Travis Zajac, a depth guy that you can put on the ice in any sort of D-zone fucking type of thing and not have to worry too much about it.
Yeah, I don't even know where Zajak's going to slot in, but he could be another depth guy. All they really gave up was a 1st. That was pretty much it. Like Yost, Greer, those are all minor leaguers in the 4th. I thought it was really good value. I think now you look at the Islanders, they're probably going to have a 3rd line with like Pajot and Palmieri. Just seems like nightmare stuff. Like the way the Islanders are built, it's like they continue to get better with just like basically having like a ton of 2nd line guys who know their role and like do it well.
Dude, I was listening to the Rangers game and Joe Micheletti said that the Islanders start every period with their 4th line with Martin, Clutterbuck, and Cizikas. Like that's fucking sick, dude. Like I wish the Rangers had the 4th line they could start every fucking period.
And you know too, like the more I think about the Islanders this year and the more it's like a weird season, no fans. I was with our buddy Dubsy this past weekend, was on a couple weeks ago talking Islanders. The one thing we were talking about, it sucks that the Coliseum's not open for this playoff run. Like kind of bittersweet there. There's no Long Island fans getting trashed because I think they might make a run, but I just think they're built to beat the Bolts. Like when you look at the only team that really beat the Lightning in the playoffs last 2 years, it was the Blue Jackets that one year with that grind hockey, and that's exactly what the Islanders are going to throw at them, and they're going to throw everything at them. They're going to throw the body every shift, and I think if anyone can beat the Bolts out of the East, they 100% have the best bet, and you just throw in another goal scorer.
That series would be sick to watch. It'd be really fun to watch the Tampa Bay Lightning fake tough against Matt Martin, Kyle Clutterbuck, and Casey Cizikas.
Yeah, exactly. And
Casey Cizikas killed a guy, like accidentally, but he did playing rugby. Like,
right.
And then Matt Martin's a gigantic dude, and Cal Clutterbuck will put you into fucking Sunrise, Florida with the Panthers, dude.
Yeah, and I saw some Islanders fans that were a little upset because they think it might take away from some of the young kids, but like there's no real reason to rush like Wallstrom and Bellows into heavy minutes in the playoffs. Like they played a full season getting a ton of minutes. They'll get a ton of minutes next year. Like just be patient.
I'm over Wallstrom. He's fake tough.
That's the thing is I just don't see him as tough. Does he act tough often?
Yeah, he acts tough.
Yeah, I think that's him just trying to be a rookie. I don't think that's his game, so that's kind of weird to hear.
I hope the next time he acts tough, Brendan Smith puts him in his place, dude. He's our fighter now. But that's what we had on the trade deadline. We have a couple other NHL things. I thought this one was cool. Ryan Getzlaf told Ducks management that he would leave the Ducks, but only if the Ducks got a haul for him to help rebuild their franchise. Nothing ended up panning out, but classy move by Getzlaf. Like, I wonder how much would you give up for Getzlaf if you had like a team that you knew was going to make a run at the Cup?
I don't know. I mean, based on Foligno getting a first, I think he's on the tail end.
Vegas was involved. Like, could you imagine if Vegas got Getzlaf?
Yeah, I know, and I don't know. To me, it's hard for me to put Getzlaf on the team because it doesn't seem like Getzlaf wants to be that guy. I feel like Getzlaf, unlike a lot of old guys, won his cup. Do you know what I mean? He won a couple, and like, name a better place to live in the NHL than Anaheim. I know taxes and shit. He's got a family. He's probably got a beach house, dude. And he's got some cups. So like, if I'm Getzlaf, and I don't know if this is messed up to say, like, if I was an NHLer that already won a cup and like I have a beloved franchise I've played for my whole career, there would be no real incentive for me to leave. Like, it would be sick to win one more, but like, you already kind of did it all with in the OC, bro. He's just the OC now. But I agree, in theory, it would be sick to see him in a different team's jersey in the playoffs playing meaningful games.
I would agree. And then just one other thing, Henrik Lundqvist said he made a stretch goal to join the Caps at the end of the season. Training's been well. He's been feeling good, but the heart isn't quite ready. So Hank isn't going to return this year. I hope to see Henrik Lundqvist put on goalie pads next year. I think that'd be really fucking cool. But
did he sign a 1-year deal or was it multi-year?
I think it was 1 year.
Hank watch. If the Rangers signed Henrik back, would it just be like he never left technically?
You could probably put the C on his jersey and be a great captain for the Rangers.
Dale's hero of the week.
Oh my God. Speaking of Rangers talk, Zach Jones, he won a national championship with UMass. There's reports coming out the Rangers are going to sign him and burn a year of his entry-level contract, meaning that he would probably play this year. That would be nice to see. Vitali Kravtsov. So, dude, we've talked about Lafreniere. We've talked about Capo Caco, Phil Hedl. Kravtsov was taken, I think, 9th overall when Wallstrom was still on the board. Dude, out of all those kids that have come over and played in the NHL, like, he easily looks, at least right now, he looks like the most electric and, like, offensively gifted player out of all of them. Like, it's unreal. Like, the shit he does with the puck, he makes everybody around him better. He was on the fourth line the other night with Kevin Rooney, and I think he rotates with Blackwell and Brett Howden. And the fourth line for the first time all year is almost scoring goals. It was insane. And then they moved them up because Chris Kreider was sucking again, which I'll get into in a little bit.
Okay, I got a hypothetical for you because we got in a pretty big argument about this on the podcast where you were drunk in San Diego. I
don't remember.
So the Sabre. My position's always been that the Sabres are going to trade the Rangers Jack Eichel. They're going to want one of Lafreniere or Capo. What if Kravtsov goes off? Before you had said that's the guy you wanted to go. What if that's the only young star that they want compared to the other two? Are you happy with that? Or now all of a sudden are you in your feelings?
I would need to make sure Jack Eichel was 100% healthy. And if he was, I'd take Eichel.
Okay. Fair enough.
Jack Eichel is the number one center in the National Hockey League, and he's American.
Tony D, watch.
Yep. D'Angelo was likely to be bought. Oh, man. So there was something that came out today. The Rangers were willing to terminate Tony DeAngelo's contract where he could sign with somebody. If that had happened, the Montreal Canadiens were prepared to sign Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo told the Rangers, nah, man, I'm good. Just buy me out in the offseason. This is going to save Tony DeAngelo $2.6 million. People are all mad at him about all this shit. Tony DeAngelo moves the needle, dude. People love fucking talking about him. I wouldn't leave $2.6 million on the table, especially in a world that just showed me that I can't say anything without like getting kicked off a team.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to take your money. I don't fault Tony D at all. It does feel good, though, because I don't know if you remember this. You basically said Tony D would be in the NHL at the end of the year. I said he wouldn't. I would be right. So I technically won it, but in a weird twist of fate, the reason I won it is because Tony D didn't want to play. But nonetheless, I was right. You were wrong. Doesn't matter. I'll take a win.
It would have been cool if he went to Montreal. That would have been hilarious.
The Bergman?
Yeah, that would have been a funny thing to watch. Morgan Barron. Goran was talking about Morgan Barron, how he's been playing pretty well in the NHL. This is that Cornell kid. He's a later round pick, but he won like Defensive Player of the Year and like got some Hobie votes or whatever. He played at Cornell. He's had a pretty good year in the AHL. Now that the trade deadline's over, there's different bonuses and different shit that plays pre-deadline and now post-deadline. I think that they have either more room for call-ups or something along those lines. So Gordon said by the end of the year, we should be able to see what this kid has to bring to the table, which is cool. And then Capo Caco in the last 4 games, he has a goal and 4 assists.
Nice.
Capo watch, nice to see. That kid line of him, Hedl, and Lafreniere, they're actually doing shit. Like last game against the Islanders, they lost in overtime, but they were literally the only line that was buzzing every single time they went out there, which is really, really cool. And like, I'm trying not to be overly optimistic about it, but pretty fucking sick to see. And then because we're doing heroes and zeros with the analyst, whatever, I had a zero. I'm just going to keep talking about him. Chris Kreider, man, he has 1 goal and 3 assists in his last 10 games. Last game against the Islanders, 30 seconds in, he puts the puck over the glass, a mental mistake. They score on the power play. Their second goal, he got lost on the back check. That's how they got their second goal with like 3 seconds left to go in the first period. They ended up putting him down to the 4th line, but then in overtime, they put him back out there. Chris Kreider needs to fucking figure it out. I mean, this is him and the Trouba contract are going to fucking hurt us for years to come. Chris Kreider scores goals when he's in front of the net, but when he doesn't go to the front of the net, he doesn't score goals. It was weird because when he got benched and he went out on the 4th line, he actually skated harder than what he looked like on the first line, and he was heavier on the forecheck. That's the shit that Chris Kreider should be doing all the time. For some reason, I think Chris Kreider in his head thinks he's a skilled player and doesn't need to do these dirty like area type things, and it blows my mind because that's literally the only time he's like productive at all. So my zero of the week, at least with the Rangers, is Chris Kreider. Figure it the fuck out, dude. That's what I have there. And also, I do want to bring this up before we get into the Bruins, because how we might have ourselves something that kind of goes down to the wire here in terms of playoffs. Battling for that 4th and final spot are the Rangers and the Bruins. The Bruins have 2 games in hand and they're 4 points up. So let's say they win both games. That means they are 8 points up on the Rangers. I know that they do have some games against the Sabres coming up, which should be easy W's. The Rangers have 4 games in a row against the Devils right now, who just traded away a ton of their team. And the last 2 games of the year are Rangers and Bruins. I don't think the Rangers are going to make the playoffs. I've said this for how long have I been saying this for? My question for you, is it going to come down to the final 2 games of the season? Like, do you think the Rangers are going to be within reach? And if so, like, how fucking awesome would it be if the last game of the year came down Rangers, Bruins, whoever wins that gets in?
Would be sweet, dude. I hope not. I wrote down I'm not worried about the Rangers. It would be cool if the last 2 games, that's how it came down. It's really going to depend on 2 things. I guess I can kind of just get into it. If Tuukka comes back, right? Like, we haven't had Tuukka for so long. He means a ton to the team.
How long has he been out for, and why is he out?
I don't know. He's had like different surgeries. I think he's like minor stuff. I honestly have no idea, dude, because it depresses me. I don't know if that's sad to say. Like about 3 weeks ago, he came back after being out for like a month, and then he like played a period and left. They've been pretty quiet about what's going on, but I hope he's okay. I just think we're a different team with Tuukka in that. And then obviously now Taylor Hall is a wild card. So we'll see. Bruins are beat up. Like if things don't turn around, then yeah, I think 100% it's going to be like a play-in game. But if like the Bruins find their stride, then hopefully this scenario never comes to pasture. I did want to really quick circle back. I guess I'll put this under Bruins stuff. Shout out UMass winning a national championship. You texted me briefly on it. I just think it's cool. One, I feel like Minnesota's been winning way too many national championships. I hated that 3 of the 4 teams in the Frozen Four Minnesota teams. It's like, let's get some diversity, boys. BC, BU, like the blue blood programs in the Hockey East, they need to grow up.
Blood
That's what they are, dude. They get all the pretty boys. They get all like the prep school stars, the USA development teams. I feel like UMass, after Cale Makar, started getting more and more prospects, but they get guys out of like the BCHL, the AJHL. Like they like scout Canada more. I don't know. I like it, dude. I don't know if you have anything you wanted on that, but UMass winning a national championship was cool. First one. I'm about it.
Dude, I asked you, and I don't know if we came up with the answer. Is UMass, is that a state school?
No idea, because I know.
Would that be like SUNY Cortland winning the D1 national championship in like hockey? If they were D1? Like, is that like the same thing? Because that's fucking sick if that's what it is. Because state schools are fucking super cheap. At least compared to like the big private schools and shit.
Yeah, it is. So it's a public school, but it's like bigger than any of those. I think it'd be more like if like Buffalo, UB had a team. Like that's what, you know what I mean? Like you've been to UMass. Like that's what you would compare it to in size. So it's not exactly like Cortland.
Still
yeah, I get the comparison. Yeah, state school definitely like beating some of those programs is awesome. So shout out UMass. And I was talking about Tuukka. This is the only other thing I really wanted to touch on. Jeremy Swayman. So I'd been pumping his tires. The UMaine goalie, who's the Bruins prospect, he came in. I think he won like his first 9 AHL games. Played in 3 games. He went 2-1. I think he's got a .929 save percentage. Like, looked great. Bruins fans way too excited about it though. Like, few things I noticed. He's sick. I think he's an NHLer for sure. He wore number 1 in college when he carried UMaine. And he got one in the NHL, which I think is sick. I kind of like that. That's a flex for a rookie goalie to be like, I want one. So I like that. I like his confidence. He's kind of athletic. He plays around outside the crease a little bit like Tim Thomas, which I like. But you can also see sometimes just like rookie mistakes. Like he's 22 years old, dude. You know what I mean? Like no rush for him. Any Bruins fans are like, we need to move on from Rask. Like Swayman's the future. It's like pump your brakes, dude. I think the answer for the Bruins after this year is maybe move on from Halak and then let Vladar and Swayman back up Tuukka. That's my hope. I just think people need to pump their brakes on the expectations with like a 22-year-old rookie goalie who's played 10 career pro games.
I liked his first game. They had like 40 shots on him, and they interviewed his college coach, and he's like, "Yeah, he was pretty used to that here." The coach was like, he used to get fucking hammered with shots, and he was fine.
So, and I'll just do my hero of the week, transferring in that. Rest in peace, Red Gendron. Jeremy Swayman's college coach died. UMain's hockey coach died on the golf course Friday. He's like 63 years old. Yeah. Right after Swayman played those 2 games, there was like a big article about
their head coach. UMain's head coach passed away.
Yeah, over the weekend.
Holy shit!
Just unexpected playing golf. So that stunk. There was a huge article about how pumped he was for Jeremy Swayman that came out like the day before. He won a cup with the Devils. He was like an assistant coach. He coached for the River Rats for a little bit. He was at UMass too. Pretty good career. Tough to coach at UMaine. Like they don't have the money and the facilities that like BU, BC have, and like it's kind of hard to get like recruits to be like, yeah, come to Bangor. Like there's definitely some allure because their program's always been there, but it's not the easiest job. So I always respected him. Just sucks, dude. Sucks to see a guy go that young. Shout out Red Gendron.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Rest in peace. Fuck, man. I had no idea. Brutal. That was our Rangers and Bruins talk. Now we're going to get into our 3 stars of the week.
All right, Jim and Mike, thanks very kindly. A nice weekend for you. As always, our 3-star selectors are stars of the hockey scene wherever we go on Rogers Hometown Hockey.
Are we doing 3 stars? Are we doing like heroes and zeros of that thing?
I think that's what I meant. I think I meant to do heroes and zeros.
Right, well, before we rate the Sportsnet telecast, that was Sportsnet, right? Am I saying it was the right? Was that who had that on?
TSN Tradecentre.
Thank you, dude. I honestly didn't even know what I was watching. That's why I needed to prepare. There's one more thing. Can I just give you my normal zero of the week before we get into that?
Sure.
I really wanted to throw this one out there. Tom Fitzgerald, the GM of the Devils, basically saying that he hopes he gets the 32nd or 31st pick in the draft next year because he hopes Palmieri and Zajac win the cup. Great gesture. I just don't want to hear that out loud, dude. Like, you want that pick to be like the 24th pick if you're my GM, bro. Like, I don't have time for that. As a fan, do I want Palmieri to win? Sure. But do I want a 32nd pick? Zero.
Aren't they supposed to be fucking rivals?
Yeah, dude. Like, take it easy, Tommy.
That's a weird. If somebody on the Rangers ever said that about the Islanders, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, like if you're a Devils fan, right? I'm not even in that like New York rivalry really, so I didn't think about it from that perspective. That would take me off even more.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So
another one of my zeros is fucking BizDev, because BizDev put up a Snapchat of him using the Can I Brands fucking lotion or whatever.
Yeah. The
whole time he told me he didn't have any, that he needed to have mine because he didn't have one.
I think he found it in his travel bag.
Oh, weird. But I see BizDev using Can I Brands. Guys, Can I Brands promo code TMS25, save you 25% off your order. I'm sure he probably used a ton of it because he just fucking biked all that time, but like,
bro, okay, so this is something I do have.
That kid.
I don't even know how to describe this. I think I've been using them wrong. So you know how there's like the droplets of the can. So I like put them under my tongue. Like I thought you took it that way. Yeah. BizDev on top of the cream was just rubbing those droplets all over his body. We mentioned it earlier, 250-mile bike ride. And I definitely saw him rubbing droplets on himself. So it looks like, he survived 250 miles on a bike.
That the right way, bro. That's so funny.
But I think he did, because like if anyone knows BizDev, and I think that's the ultimate promo for Can I Brands, you can ride your bike 250 miles, because BizDev wasn't even on like a street bike. He had like a crossover mountain bike, like race bike. Made no sense.
Yeah, a Tour de France bike.
And he was just dropping them droplets all over that body.
Oh my god. Clapping cheeks, dude. BizDev, man, fuck. Promo code TMS25, save you 25%. Trade Center. What was like your favorite and least favorite thing about Trade Center? I think my favorite thing, if I can go first, my hero of Trade Center, if you will, Kevin Weeks broke a shit ton of fucking trades today. Did you notice that?
Yeah, good on him. I agree with that.
The guy, normally you get fucking, you have like the same people, Dregs, Friedman, Pierre. I mean, they all were too, but like Kevin Weeks was throwing some shit out there. And you want to know what? Guess who broke the Taylor Hall trade before everybody did? John fucking Butchergross, dude. out of nowhere. Yeah, he put up a picture of Taylor Hall in like some like building in Boston with like a think emoji. And then that was last night, and then it fucking happened. So it's nice to see some guys who don't, not that they don't normally break trades, it's just nice to see to get some new blood in there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, shout out. I don't really think of Kevin Weeks as an insider either, so I feel like that's kind of a flex. That's kind of a flex on his part to do that. Start breaking trades. Who's your favorite panelist on the show?
My favorite, I mean, obviously Bob McKenzie always. I think he's a man, and I made fun of you a couple weeks ago, dude. I'm a big O-Dog guy. The fact that he has like a sparkling earring in his left ear, and you just know like I loves hot dogs and like drinking beer and shit. So I would say O-Dog.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good one, dude. I actually have a super controversial one because I know you don't like this guy, so I'm just gonna say it. Jamie Mclennan. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Jamie Mclennan. I just always picture him like NHL, like '98. His profile picture, he had like a puka shell necklace on, and it just stuck with me, dude. Like I just kind of ride or die Jamie Mclennan.
Jamie Mclennan reminds me of Spider-Man.
What do you like, Tobey Maguire or like
Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man, or even the new guy, just like the young kid who's like, I don't know. He's Jamie Mclennan to me, Spider-Man.
That's I mean, that's fair, dude. Is there anybody on the panel that you hated?
There's that Mike guy. I don't know his last name. He comes off as a little bit arrogant. Craig Button showing up with the fucking giant thing on his face made me laugh really fucking hard. Like the nicest suit and just a giant gash on the side of his head. Duffy's all right. Bob's obviously great. Bieksa and Versteeg, I didn't get to watch this, but they were going at it. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter when they were talking about how the Canucks were getting people to I don't know. They were talking about how the Canucks were getting people, and Versteeg's like, yeah, they didn't have to worry about that when I was playing. I was too busy counting championships, and like Bieksa said that he had bad hair. It was this whole thing, but
yeah, I did see that, dude. I actually thought, dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I thought Bieksa kind of came off as like a hardo, like he couldn't laugh at himself. Like I thought for Stieg, it was like a pretty funny like chirp, and you could tell that Bieksa was like permanently like he was like offended, dude, and like he went after his hairline and like several other things. He like said he was an irrelevant player. It's like, dude, Versteeg gets cups, but that is like a hard thing probably for Bieksa to hear.
Yeah, but do you remember a couple of years ago when the Bruins were watching their Stanley Cup thing and Lucic's like, fuck Ryan Kessler? He's like, I don't care. I fucking hate Ryan Kessler. Like, these guys still hold those grudges.
Agree. Yeah, I agree with that, but it just felt like to me, Versteeg, maybe it's easier to joke around when you won like Versteeg, but like Bieksa just was having none of it, dude. Like you could tell he was like having PTSD of just like losing to the Blackhawks every single year.
A little bit, yeah. For sure.
That made me laugh, dude. The one name that you just brought up that I thought was funny is who was the Merrick? Jeff Merrick?
Jeff Merrick. I don't know what he looks like.
No, not Jeff Merrick. Who is the host? Duffy. You're not a Duffy guy?
James Duffy. He's all right.
Yeah, I don't know. James Duffy kind of gives me weird vibes too. I just confused them with Jeff Merrick, who I like Jeff Merrick, but they both kind of confused me a little bit. I agree. I don't know. It was good production, dude. I don't
really like that Gord Miller guy. I was kind of pissed off that I had to see him on my TV.
Yeah, Gord Miller was tough. I didn't really think the bar down segments were that funny. I don't know if you saw all of them. I don't really understand what bar down is. I thought bar down was like a meme account or something, but it's actually run by TSN. Do you know about them?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I think they're like hockey media, but through TSN.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to think if there were any other like funny trade stories. The one with Milbury was funny. How Milbury called somebody on the thing. It was just like, "Hey, you got traded," and then just hung up. There was nothing else to the phone call. I don't know. It was definitely cool. It was worth the extra money watching those guys. So, but that's what I have for this episode. Do you have anything else, Hal?
That's it, dude. Good trade. Trade deadline's always kind of a tough one for the boys, so that was good.
Especially with the names that were out this year, man. Hopefully next year there'll be more people that.
Yeah, usually you have like pretty relevant trades. It's like how many seventh defenseman for 6th-round picks can you really talk about?
Like, do I really have to pretend on this podcast I'm jacked up that Jacob Vrana is going to fucking...
No, so the one thing I did, looking back on it, though, I do think it's funny that we talked about a lot of irrelevant players, and the one name I refused to talk about was Patrick Nemeth, and I still got nothing.
I don't know anything about Patrick Nemeth. Where'd he go? Colorado, I think. Good for them.
Yeah. He's probably going to win a cup in our face now.
He's probably going to win the fucking Conn Smythe. All right, guys. That was the episode of the Morning Skate, episode 197. Thank you for tuning in. We will talk to you guys next week.